Oh, loves, we back. The night is still young. We got the data mines for the Book 7 update, so we're going to start things off with the refines for the heroes that we're getting them, which includes Cronya, we got Duo Ephraim, we got Hubert, and then we have Na as well. Actually, I think there's supposed to be one more. Hold on, let me see if we have that one. Okay, so actually, shoutouts to right here. So this man has posted all of them in one, which is actually a whole lot better for us. So let's go ahead and close those. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these refines and see what's up. And then after that, we're going to do a separate video and talk about all the other Book 7 related data mines. So we got Hubert here. We got part 2 of Hubert's weapon. We'll start with Hubert. Okay, so Hubert's weapon, I guess that says Hubert's report. 14 might, 2 range. At the start of combat, if foe's HP is over 75%, or if a penalty is active on the foe, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Okay, so he defaulted with the Fox Tome, if I'm not mistaken, so this is certainly a better thing to give him. And then also his special effect is if a rally or movement assist skill like repo or shove or pivot is used by unit or target's unit, inflicts attack, defense, and res -7, guard, and exposure on foes in cardinal directions of unit and target after movement through their next actions. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants another all stats of 4 to unit during combat. Wow, that's the sauce. Holy shit. Okay, so you just pop a repo or a shove or smites or whichever one, drawback even. Then you're basically inflicting a ruse-like attack, defense, and res -7 with guard, with exposure. Exposure is very good. Currently, the only unit that had exposure prior to this was Duo Thick, and now you're able to do it with Hubert in, I would say, a more like reasonable way, because depending on the way you position your units, you could escape stall ploy and exposure from Duo Thor. This is going to be a little bit more controlled. You'll be able to select who you want to inflict that on with the guard as well. He's a decent fighter too. It's not like he can only support. He's getting essentially all stats up 8 and a guaranteed follow-up when he fights. And given the new Ophelia, the rearmed Ophelia, with all the stuff she comes with, special spiral 4 on this guy, so he can just cut through damage reduction. This is going to be a pretty solid unit, actually. Do not sleep on Hubert's refine. I think it's pretty solid. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Cronya up next. Okay, so Cronya is probably the most long-awaited one out of this batch because she is a GHB. So Ephraim grants res up 3. If unit initiates combat or if foe's HP is not full at the start of combat, grants attack and speed up 5 to unit during combat. If foe initiates combat and foe's HP is not full at the start of combat, unit can counterattack before foe's first attack. And then dagger 7. Unfortunately, she doesn't just get a free vantage, which I was hoping they were going to do for her. You still have to find a way to get them below full health, and that's not always going to be ideal to do. So a little bit janky there. Okay, also, if unit initiates combat or is not adjacent to an ally, grants another attack and speed up 5 to unit during combat. After combat, if unit initiated combat and attack, deals 5 damage to target and foes in 2 spaces of target, or target and foes in 2 spaces of unit, and inflicts exposure on those foes through the next actions. Yeah, that's kinda not good enough. Oh man, they really didn't give her enough. She's getting attack and speed up 10. That's like what she actually needed was some true damage, because she's a vantage enemy phaser that wants to finish off the opponent before they get to hit her. So for that to have worked, they would have had to give her like Broadleaf Fan or Treachery or Blade Tome or like nullify enemies DR, which I guess she actually can do now with Special Spiral 4 since she has the built-in vantage. Actually, yes, Special Spiral 4 might be the thing that puts her over the top, kinda. Because, yeah, she's going to inflict exposure, and then what special would you give her? Like Ruptured Sky? And then she's clapping them with the +5 true damage from Special Spiral 4 and blocking DR. Yeah, okay, so hold on. Maybe I spoke a little too soon there. Maybe Special Spiral 4 is just what the doctor ordered for Cronya there. But really, though, what we needed her to do was get some more damage and just get unconditional Vantage, which, unfortunately, she still has the condition on Vantage. So that's the one downside here. But, bro, like, I'm telling people Special Spiral 4 is bananas, and it seems like I'm the only one that thinks so at the moment. So, bro, the amount of units that get helped by that skill are just... You're going to be overwhelmed by how strong and how omnipresent that skill is going to be, trust me. All right, we'll go on to Na up next. This is, of course, the progeny of Naui. So what do we got here? Grants attack up 3 at the start of combat if unit's HP is over 50% or if a bonus is active on the unit. Grants all stats up 4 to unit during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. And adaptive damage, of course, like all dragons got. Okay, also, at the start of the turn, if unit is in 2 spaces of an ally, grants defensive res up 6, and the following status to unit and allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn. Alright, let's take a look at it over here. So, grants special cooldown charge +1 per attack during combat. If unit initiates combat or is in 2 spaces of an ally, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat, and grants a bonus to all stats during combat equal to the highest bonus on allies in 2 spaces of unit, with calculating each bonus independently. Interesting. Hold on. Let me read this again. At the start of turn, if unit is in 2 spaces of an ally, gets defensive res up 6, and following status to unit and allies, so it's a support, within 2 spaces for 1 turn. So she grants the breath effect to allies in 2 spaces, which is strong. And then if unit initiates combat or is in 2 spaces of an ally, gets all stats of 4, and then, like, what would I compare this to? Like, bonus doubler, but not really, because you're using your allies' bonuses instead of your own. As a support, actually, that's pretty wild, that she gives this as a support. So, let's say you've got an ally with +7 to all stats, or let's say you've got a Hatari Azura on the team, and she dances in the middle. So all your guys are just getting +6 to everything. If you happen to enter combat with anyone, not even if it's Na, if it's just anyone else, and they're in 2 spaces, they're going to get +6 to everything. From there, all stats of 4, and then they're getting the breath effect. Because all of this is part of her support. That's very good. That's a really good support. Holy shit. Wow, what is this? Like the support batch refines? This is good. This is a really solid weapon they gave her. Okay, and then not only that, she's already just getting all stats of 4, defense and res up 6. She's a dragon too, so make way for Dragon's Ire 4, Dragon's Wrath 4, and like all the other good dragon skills we've got. Very strong. Very strong stuff from Na. Okay, next up we got Duo Ephraim. Let's take a look at his stuff. They said incoming wall of text, right? So let's prepare for that. Alright, so effective against armor and cav. Grants attack up 3. Unit cannot be slowed by terrain. Oh, that's pretty clutch. So he's an infantry unit, and he can just move right through forest tiles, basically, which is pretty cool. At the start of combat, if unit's attack is better than the foe's attack, or if a bonus is active on a unit, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat. Also, during combat, if unit's attack is better than the foe's attack, or a bonus is active on unit, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Alright, so playing up that, like, he wants to have more attack than the enemy deal, which he should be able to pull that off. So we get a guaranteed follow-up, we get all stats of 4, just ignore terrain, okay. Alright, also, if a bonus is active on unit, enables Kanto Rem +1. That's fire, because he's an infantry type. Normally, they can't get Kanto. And at the start of even number turns, unit can move 1 extra space. Dude, what is this? This just doesn't end. He just keeps on getting more and more good stuff. So, even number turns, he basically has even Tempest built in. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants another all stats of 4 to unit during combat, and if bonus is active on unit, foe cannot make a follow-up. Okay, so you block the enemy follow-up, he gets a guaranteed follow-up, he's got Kanto Rem, he's got +1 movement, he ignores terrain. That's a really strong combo, actually. The fact that he can ignore terrain, and then he also gets even Tempest there. This is really good. I like this, actually. This is a pretty good refine for him. And he's effectively also just getting all stats up 8. And he has the duo skill in his pocket, too. So he can give your other allies that are infantry or armored, I believe. I think it's infantry and armor only that are in 2 spaces of him. He can give them all +1 movement, too. Yeah, this is pretty good. Much better than Hector, I think. All right, and finally, we got Duo Marth. Okay, this guy is going to need... He probably needs the most help out of all of these units. So let's see what they gave to him. All right, effective against flying foes, grants speed up 3. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 50%, or if a bonus is active on unit, grants all stats of 4 and special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat. Okay, and then if unit is in 3 spaces of an ally, grants all stats of 4 to unit during combat, and if foe initiates combat and uses a bow, dagger, magic, or staff, and unit speed is better than the foe's speed, unit can counterattack before the foe's first attack, and unit can make a follow-up attack before the foe can counterattack. Interesting. Okay, so what has he got, like, Vantage against ranged enemies, and then he also has, like, a Desperation effect, too? That's different. And then he's got Daring Fighter as well, which is, like, it's like null follow-up for armored units, and I think it was Desperation also. So he's got Desperation on both phases, then. He's got Desperation on both phases. He's got all stats up 8. His duo skill gives bonus doubler, by the way. So, like, if you had +6 to all stats on him, you could just get bonus doubler out of his duo skill. Okay, this one seems pretty good, but also he was really hurt by the fact that we just got Emblem. So, unfortunately for him, like, him as a far saver would have been really interesting with this now, that he just has Vantage against ranged enemies. If Emblem didn't exist and he could just go to town with, like, far save, this actually would have been pretty big for him. But unfortunately, it's just like 2 minutes too late. Emblem just came out, so I mean, this one is not really as good as it could have been. It still looks pretty solid, though. I gotta admit, they actually made him interesting. He has Fire Emblem as well, which is a 2-hit special, so he'll probably be able to activate that. Yeah, he's getting the Breath Ramp, too, so on his second hit, he's clapping him with Fire Emblem for sure. Yeah, like, for considering what this guy was prior to this, they certainly made him more unique and more worthwhile, definitely. So, at least they gave him that much. But I don't think he's one of the best that we looked at here. Who do I think actually won this batch? I think it might have been Na. I think Na is the big winner here, followed by probably Hubert and Ephraim. Like, I would probably have Ephraim above Hubert. So, Na, then Ephraim, then Hubert, and then Cronya. Or would I put Cronya above... I don't know if I'd put Cronya above Hubert, but Cronya is definitely going to be more dangerous if you can get her Vantage condition to activate, and then you got Special Spiral 4, but, like, this guy... Him having the, like, Ruse effect with movement assist is certainly a lot better, I think, so I'd probably just barely give it to him. And then in last place, unfortunately, is the guy who needed the most help. So that's how I'm calling this batch of refines. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in just a sec when we talk about the rest of the Book 7 data mines.